moyo wangu waziza kufira Zimbabwe. Moyo wangu waziza kufira Zimbabwe. Kuzadzisa basa randakazirwa. Kuzadzisa basa randakazirwa.
We got to a stage where the CIDs in Zambia, the sabotage activities that we were carrying out, and so the only way to make them understand is to hit them where it hurts most.
Okay.
There's some petrol bomb, there's a sheet, they got to identify kuti ndivanani vari kumboita izvozvizvi.
Okay.
And once they've identified, then they want to follow you through and find out what are you doing, and they find you are employed.
Okay.
And then they'll go to the employer and tell the employer,
okay.
Don't give him a job. So down the road, as much as we were most of us were employed, we ended up down the road unemployed.
Okay.
Because no employer would take you anymore, because the word has gone around that you're a bad person.
You're a bad person.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So in Zakabatsira at that time, but more when the recruitment for armed struggle came. Because I mean vanga vatotanga kurecruita vanhu vacho ndivakudzingisana nokubasa saka adzingwa basa manje kuti
ndo recruitment chaiyo
got to understand kuti murungu akashata.
Okay.
And that's the reason why we want to fight them. Akashata murungu saka ari kudzingira chii.
Okay. You mentioned that I should remind you about employment. Was this the thing?
Yeah, this is the bit that I wanted to say. We considered ourselves a group changu inini. They operate as separate groups. You couldn't take the whole lot of youth. No, you had to go maybe 4 or 5 people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
okay.
Papa ndo anaisiza na wini.
Wana Katula and
Katula na Chipanga wamwacho they're dead, they're deceased now.
Oh, okay.
So with group hiyo manje ajibu remember to work with somebody else.
Oh, okay.
At Singaziwe because anokutengeza.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So comrade, you are still youths, but you are taking this initiative on your own. You know, this is a completely different type of a youth than we are used to today. You are like saying this, and I have to fight for my country.
Yes. There is a clear difference between the approach my youth and Mazuano. And I often say,
okay.
The activities that Sangani, the sabotage, most of them were funded from our personal pockets. You couldn't go to the party and say, pay Mario petrol so that you make a petrol bomb. No.
Okay.
I had to find the money myself, go and buy the petrol, buy everything that is required, and do the thing myself.
Oh, you distill from Nigriama chef who knows drainer petrol.
Okay. To go and
So we had a very clear, and I don't know where that came from. Understood right and wrong. We knew much better than even Maputo sometimes. I don't know where it came from really.
Okay.
Certainly in my group, I think they will repeat the same thing. We agreed to apana anofamba achiita fanika se bora ngoma. Unafanana, you must always be properly dressed.
Okay.
Tie and suit, jacket.
Okay.
Yeah? Yeah, to famba 10, famba like that, maskati, zoroloka. But what we'll do is, ne suit you, ne tie you, chabva mumbai imomo kune maCID tinenge tichizvitira maCID vatuone.
Or seeing you looking smart.
Looking smart. From there we go to sabotage.
Vakomana ngokapfeka masutu aya vakuenda kuno.
Yeah, so kwataura izvozvo vanoramba kuti no, not that type.
He's too smart.
Avaite izvozvo. Saka and true, that's how we managed ourselves kuti azvitwe. Hapana anoenda kunokumbira kuti vakuru ndaita chekuti chindipawo mari. No. Somehow,
and you don't expect to be paid.
No. Somehow we managed to persuade and educate ourselves kuti hapana employer panapa achazokupa mari for what you're doing. Right? That's your personal individual contribution. Yeah? So don't look for expect anybody to come along to say. So that was a serious thing, kwatiri yekuti you don't come nesu or walk together pamwisheti, then you go and ask the lady wasangana naye msisi ndipoka mari yokuti tate kandokurowayo.
Oh really?
Ndokurowa azvite futi.
Mari ngati mabaura ngoma zvoshona ka.
And sister is mabaura ngoma. It's actually straightforward.
Straightforward.
Yes.
Okay.
We were straight as they came. Straight.
Okay. Was it the same with you, comparative where you were? You also like doing the same?
Well, I was in their company, but when I went out, I had to be a gentleman in order to attract money for my trade unions.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So you had to look,
Yes.
you had to look at the party.
You see?
Okay. So, comrade, you told me that when you were to Oxford, makazoita representative which pane wedera mataura mini.
Ndakazobva ndikaenda kuLondon. Ndoko ndakazove commissioner wema Racial Justice Commission yeEngland and Wales.
Chii ichocho? Makuti vhunduka mawedzi acho akura ka Racial Justice Commission of England.
Vakanga vaina kune racist everywhere. But I was then chosen to become a secretary.
Okay.
But that's I came back home 10 years after. I had the letter going to Chitepo. Then Chitepo dies. Then I showed the letter to my executive, who were very worried. They visited my heads of state. You can't do that. In fact, uyu wakanga ari mainza chona uyu wakanga ari prosecutor.
Okay, yes.
Yakandinyorera tsamba.
Okay.
Indozoti chiti makaranga uraya whatever. Not knowing that now uriko.
Okay.
But zvakanga zvaitwa nomurunguka.
Okay.
In the end akazovaudza kuti uyu harina kuurava
vakasungwa vezano ava. Tisu.
Yes. In the end vese akazoitwa release on the one of the conferences in Geneva.
Okay.
They were released to me,
okay.
Including Madame Gabi.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll come to that part where where they are released to you. Kuti vakureleaswa vachiuya kwamuri maoko mini zvanga zvambuya.
Ndakanga ndari kudzigara na Mutumbuka naFeichu.
Oh, okay.
Vatiza ku University yoku Zambia.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Chizengeni, at some point you indicated that matoona kuti maya handisuda kunira misha varwadzisa nekuti vanenge vatoudzwa kuti mwana asiraitu. You indicated kuti makazomova to out of the country mukaenda for 17 years. Where did you go?
But my mother was not the reason why I left. No, it's these activities, political activities that
were happening here.
We were doing and involved in.
Okay.
And naturally, remember I said the police were after us all the time. If anything happened, they had list of names. they suspected. Saka pakanzi paiswa petrol bomb up, they'll say, okay, and kuna Chizengeni, go and find out tangari kumusiwo.
Okay.
Anything chaitika and I could first.
Oh,
So I'll get picked up for things that I haven't done or for things that I've done.
Oh, okay.
At the end, Kwandiri, it worked for me because I never went to prison.
Oh, okay.
Even though I sometimes got arrested for things that I'd done.
Okay.
But like a normal person, I would always deny it wasn't me. I was not there.
Oh, okay.
And we looked smart.
Smart, eh?
Yeah, and then they look at me and say, no, that's type
he's nice.
Yes, and the CIDs, apparently CID is Angus Ross.
Okay.
I sure one Angus Ross.
Yeah.
So, but at least for me, he accepted me and accepted what I said. If I said I didn't do that, I was not there. Okay. Angus Ross understood and they believed me.
Oh.
And that was it.
You're actually even now very convincing, eh?
Thank you. So no.
So you were not arrested, and so
I was never arrested.
Okay.
But the threat of being arrested
now.
Yeah,
it's always hanging over your head.
Right. And also because we continued doing those things that would lead one to being arrested.
Yeah.
So it got to a stage where even Vakuru, and Pani Vakuru, not everybody, but Vakuru, which is one now, they get to take a particular interest in this boy and that boy and that. So in my case, in my case, Ndara Takawira, Leopold Takawira. Yeah, he liked me. I liked him, of course.
Okay.
And
it was mutual.
Yes, it was mutual. We did whatever we did out there, and the police started looking for us, and they go kwa Takawira. Murudachi warutsaka Chizengeni.
Oh, okay.
Takawira the next time I visit him, Takawira would ask what is happening, what happened. Then we tell him, so good. Then he would say, look, those people are after you.
Yeah.
So you better skip the border.
Okay.
He actually helped him because he is the one that looked for transport operators, clan transport, actually, a driver. Clan transport. And I went with a friend of mine is there, Gatula.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we went in the same truck that same day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's when I left in I never told them, of course. I just left.
Which year is this you are now living?
63.
63?
Yeah. October 63.
October 63. You go into Zambia. Tell us, how did you go in this truck? People will assume that you just sitting at the passenger side having fun. As you were traveling there.
No. We were at the back cargo place.
Okay.
And the truck is locked.
Okay.
Yeah. So unfortunately for us, when we got the lift, it was Pameburin. The place in Lomagundi Road.
Yes.
We got the lift papo, and when the driver opened the back of the truck for us to get in, traffic was going back and forth, of course, along the road. And Mabunano gara kunana bankets noya chenda kumberi kwekwe vaipfuura nepapo.
Okay.
We got spotted by some white man, some white reservist, police reservist. Tichikwira kuseri kwe truck. Yeah? Of course, we didn't know that.
Okay. At that time, yes. Yeah.
So and then the two drivers, one who was driving that particular time, the relief driver, because he was not going to drive that day. He was going to drive on the return trip. And he looked back the truck. With Banket, there's a roadblock.
Yeah.
And Mapurisa, the driver, opened the truck.
Back.
because mune vanhu mukati momo uyo ari kuti ini handina makey. Apparently that was their policy. Those trucks once locked here they will be opened up in Lusaka. Yeah. Saka uyo kuti handina makey yacho mune vanhu varimo 3 hours 4 hours still pabanket. The police are saying open the truck. Hausi kupfuura. Eventually they give in. The police are saying okay pfuurai.
Imi murimo muri zii.
You can't even go to the toilet.
Okay. Yeah.
Urine
aiwiwo. Kuya kwayo rugare.
From there, the next place is Chimoio. There is a roadblock.
Again?
Yes. Exactly the same thing. Mune vanhu motikari vhurai motikari yakuti let's see vanotora vanhu vari mumotikari imomo. A couple of hours tiripo. That truck was expected in Zambia at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. 7 o'clock yakakwana tiri pachirundu.
Yeah.
So because every town munzira pane mapurisa there was a roadblock and they stopped us and they would take their time. Vachiti driver vachiramba chita I can't do that.
Okay.
Yeah, so eventually pachirundu then they said okay fine chendai amuna vanhu.
Okay.
Motika tikati takupfuura bridge manje chiti magedha freedom yauya manje.
So when you got to Zambia, what did you do? Where did you go?
We went to ZANU people. ZANU office. The party had an office in Lusaka.
Oh, okay.
And my supporters is ZANU ariko Zambia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we accommodated us.
Oh, okay.
Those people. And but our arrival there heightened the interparty conflicts.
Oh, okay. They are there again.
They are there again, and vari kuti ndofunga vanhu quite reinforcements.
Reinforcements, yeah.
Where ZAPU called for more people too.
To also come.
So hondo yacho yairamba iripo.
Okay.
Okay. And unfortunately for us ZANU, Kaunda was more in favor of ZAPU than ZANU.
Yeah, I heard that. Why was it like that? Why?
Yes.
No, I think it's the fact that he was used to working with Nkomo for much earlier or longer than any of the other guys.
Okay.
Yes, so, I think that was the thing. So we had difficulties in Lusaka.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had difficulties. Our supporters would be beaten up. Vanilla ZAPU would just go Kumbakwa and ZANU and beat them up. And when the ZANU people went to report to the police, this is what has happened to them, they got arrested.
Okay.
Yeah. So that got to a stage, and this is happening in Lusaka, Broken Hill, Ndola, in Kitwe, and so on. So we stayed in Zambia for how many days? For how many months? I said maybe 6-8 months or something.
Okay.
And it got to a stage where we decided, since we would not continue taking it lying down, circuit-wise, the ill treatment that we were getting, or our people were getting from the Zambian government, from ZAPU. ZAPU people provoke a situation, and the people who got arrested were us.
Yeah.
So, no, we said no, we should come to stop. So one time, we had a way of getting a gun, finding a gun, someplace.
You could find it somewhere.
You could find a gun somewhere. If you really wanted it, you find it. Yeah. So we had one.
Okay.
Yeah, and these guys, they our people get beaten up. Never knew ZAPU, and they go to report to Mapurisa or to Taroa. Yeah, so that really incensed us.
Yeah,
and so I went after the Mapurisa police station. Was when we do amasunga Timo.
Police station.
Police station. Boom! That's why you should have seen those. They ran. They ran.
But completely, you are in someone else's country. What's going on? Where are you getting the gas?
I don't know. I really don't know. But that it wasn't a thing. You know, Garagafunga with this is what I'm going to do. It just happened. It's just
spontaneous.
Happens. Yes.
You can't plan.
No. Yeah. So
the policemen ran for cover.
They ran for cover, Mapurisa. And Burisa Ivan Vedu.
Okay.
They Burisa. Then right, this one 2 days. Burisa fine handy, then they will go away. But unfortunately, that led to a report. I guess
yeah.
Kuna Mines Chona was the Minister of Home Affairs.
Yes.
Yes, kuna Mines Chona kuti we are becoming too
maybe too militant or something.
Too much unruly.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And we are even attacking the police station and stuff.
It was not a lie.
Yeah, no, it's true. So they said, we understand the Mines Chona went and told Kaunda and stuff. Kaunda get rid of them.
Okay.
And you know where they came from. That's real.
Okay.
Yeah. So what saved us was the fact that there was a lady who happened to be a ZANU girl who supported ZANU.
Okay.
She was going out with Mines Chona.
At that time.
Yes.
Okay.
And I may know what these ladies do to men. Mines Chona whispered
to her.
Yeah, today they wake up at the border. What? Who's going to wake up at the border?
Okay.
And she got all the information. Yanga Chida about that. Then she made an excuse to come. Mines Chona. Wherever they were drinking, she found a way of getting away from him and came. Okay. Okay, because this is what Mines Chona is planning to do. You're going to be raided this evening. And what time is this? About 11 o'clock at night. And we then decided that Totari was written. We need money to travel.
Okay.
Man, to travel, where do you get the money at that particular time? At night. But lucky again for us, there was Elias Rusike. Do you remember the name?
Yes.
Yeah, Elias Rusike was in Lusaka. He was working in Lusaka. His supporter is ZANU.
Yeah.
And with me, he was schoolmate there, Kumashuri.
Oh, Mashuri.
Saka is one of Sokanaka. So I would say, Amy, the lady, she and another Elias. Could Elias Ngawe Pano at Awi Nemari Tilo Road.
Oh, okay.
So he did that.
Okay.
And Elias gave us some money and we went to main road, and we got lift to go to Malawi. We went to Malawi.
Oh, okay.
And you arrive in Malawi, the situation is completely different, opposite to what was happening here. Banda supported ZANU, not ZAPO.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard that story. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Now the table has been turned. The ZAPO people were in trouble.
In Malawi.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the police from Rhodesia who were chasing after us in Malawi, the young pioneers will go after them as well.
Yes.
And they would always come and tell us kuti pambaye kuti pane manu vabva kuRhodesia or mapurisa abva kuRhodesia. So we dealt with them properly, nicely.
In Malawi then.
In Malawi, yeah. In Malawi we were ruling. We were in charge.
Okay.
Yes.
So in Malawi, besides these skirmishes that are going on, what had you gone there to do now? I know you're running away from arrest in Zambia. What else did you do in Malawi?
No, it's just waiting. The party has now started working, arranging for people to go for armed struggle.
Okay.
So for military training, they'd already arranged with Nkrumah, in Ghana, for people to go to Ghana.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had to wait until the Ghanaians were ready for us to go there
to receive you.
So that's why we had to go to Malawi, waiting for Ghana to take the decision and send us ndege yacho kutangura.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which they eventually did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you went to Ghana. Which year was this?
Okay. All right, no. Okay. Let me explain to you what happened with me.
Yes.
For me.
Yes.
I acted throughout group changu inini ndaita say ndini mkuru wacho. Okay.
Yeah.
Although hapana formal appointment kuti ndiwe mkuru
panapa, yes.
No, but it's understood and accepted to
ndiye mkuru
wacho.
Yes,
kind of thing. Taisangana nevanhu vakasiyana siyana. Tambova tiri group from here. Chine the people who understood each other.
Okay.
And understood the nature of the situation that we were facing. Tiri vashoma mbichana zviri nani.
Okay.
But when you go to Malawi, more and more youngsters appeared to Malawi. And vamirira chimanje, these were direct recruits for armed struggle.
Yes, yeah.
And unfortunately, these were people that came along without any orientation.
Okay.
Yeah? What they knew was we were going to train so that we come back and
try device.
That's not the language they used to use. And I promise that they say isisi tikunofira nyika.
Okay.
Isisi tikunofira nyika. So because isisi tikunofira nyika, we are entitled to anything and everything we want now. And this is how we my demands kuna representative.
Okay, because
like we want fojga, we want doro, we want chokuti, all these things must be provided because isisu tikunofira nyika.
Yes, it means me I'm not kujara language yako.
These days, so these guys got into serious trouble with me.
Oh, with you?
Yeah, with me.
Okay.
I was the party, I was the authority.
Yeah. I like that. I was the party.
Yeah, I was the authority.
Yeah.
Couldn't know. Hakuna zvakadaro.
Okay.
Hakuna zvakadaro.
Okay.
And hapana akatumira recruitment agent kuti uchawana basa kuzanu kunofira nyika. Like vasazokubhadhara hakuna zvakadaro.
Okay.
Okay. So I means that, but I would say to them, all those of you who think that they came here to fight so that they can go back home and fight and die for the country. And out of these 10 people, 7 people raised their hands that you are no use to asking me. Okay. No, because if you are going to die for it.
Yeah.
It says what we should all agree upon, what we should know is that we want to fight and liberate the country. You don't liberate it when you're dead.
No, you cannot.
Yeah.
Saga, kufa is one thing that we have to avoid.
Okay.
Yeah, so that we liberate. No. Those kinds of interactions led quite often to misunderstanding in my fights.
Okay.
And I was very rough. I was as stern as they come. So these guys, some guys would they misbehaved as far as I was concerned. And exactly what we said we shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Those are Rambajitas. I beat them up thoroughly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like thoroughly.
Thoroughly. I'm gonna be maningi. So. Of course, they couldn't take that, but vanga vasingakwanisi kudzorera because kudzorera vanokurirwa.
Oh, okay.
Neni because ndezvazvibhagera futi.
Oh, zvibhagera chaicho maitochovha futi.
izvi hapana siya zvake kumba tinazvo tese saka haiwa zvaifamba.
Okay.
Yeah. So 2 weeks before the plane from Ghana was scheduled to come and pick us up to go for training, avakomana ndarova zvavanyongora zvisiri zvomusoro vakanisi ari kuda kuzvitani. So one day ndakarara ndakabviswa banga ndakareba so kumusana. Yeah.
Did you see the person who did that?
I didn't see the person, but I was told afterwards.
Oh, it was who?
Among the group of but so, because I had to be taken to the hospital, so I was taken to the hospital. The hospital, I think I got a mistake because they cleaned up the place, it would have blood rush and then sewed it up. But they didn't check how deep was the wound. Yeah. And unfortunately for me, was that blood went all the way to the chest cavity. It missed my lung, just China. Okay, so the bleeding, instead of coming outside, Kunze, was inside. Yeah. When your blood flows inside, it's just a matter of hours before it starts clotting.
Yes.
When it starts clotting, your lung collapses.
Collapses, yeah.
It's like a lung yangu.
Okay.
Right. But this is after my doctors van Ngirika vakangosona nekunze without realizing
how deep.
So after 2 days I couldn't breathe properly. And the doctor, lucky enough, the doctor seemed to know what he was doing. What has happened? I don't know, but I'm feeling pains mukati, and I can't breathe properly. And he then said, okay, X-ray, which is what they should have done first day, but they hadn't done that.
Yes,
It's X-ray, I think it's blood clot and my lung is collapsed. Anyway, you opened up, and they did what they call it? Chest aspiration. Aspiration to drain the blood.
Okay.
They did that. Then a couple of days in the hospital, and again I took these guys, they went away to Ghana.
So this is the leg that took one Chipanga.
Chipanga is behind me. He's behind.
Oh, he's behind.
He was not even out there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this plane took, if you remember the names of people who were involved in the first Chimvukela, Chimoio.
Yes.
That's the group.
That's the group.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's 66 years.
Yeah, that's 66. That's it. Yeah.
Do again the Wakumana. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So this one is left behind. And one lung, literally, it was one lung. The other one is collapsed completely. So with a collapsed lung, the last thing that you want to do is to go for anything which is a bit physical.
Physical, yes. Yeah.
So from there, I went to Dar es Salaam.
Okay.
Go physical Dar es Salaam.
You were working from there.
Yeah.
You were working in Dar es Salaam as well.
Well, not working as working for money. No, in the party.
Oh, okay.
And then also at the same time going to school.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
The Americans had established a school.
Okay.
Yeah, in Kurasini International College.
Kurasini.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So most of us who were in Dar es Salaam during that time, Cinema O levels.
Okay.
Went to that place.
Cool.
The Zimbabweans, South Africans, Namibians, Mozambicans, Angolans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we went there.
This school, what exactly were you doing? What were you mastered?
The things you are preparing for tests. You want to go to college. You want to go to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they were preparing you for those things.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then quite a lot of our guys actually from there they went and set tests and got my scholarship to go to America or to go to Russia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you after those tests, where did you go yourself?
I stayed in Dar es Salaam. I stayed in Dar es Salaam for a little while, and then got after a year or so, I got a scholarship. My lung was beginning to grow back again. I got a scholarship to go to Czechoslovakia.
Okay.
Yeah, and Czechoslovakia ndinga nda-apply kuti ndoda kunodzidza ambition yangu ndada kudzidza nuclear engineering.
Yeah, nuclear engineering.
Yeah, that was our bomb on Smith. But
but eventually, what did you study?
Yeah, but you can't go with doing nuclear engineering with a standard 6 background.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. All right.
No. Anyway, when I got to Czechoslovakia, I had problems. First, the weather. I went wrong time for me because I was not used to. Coming from Dar es Salaam is very hot. My temperatures are minus something.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm not used to that.
Okay.
And then also nobody had told me these people speak in a language yakasiyana nechirungu.
Okay.
Yeah, so they then said you had to learn. You had to learn Czech for 6 months. Then thereafter you begin the course. So no, I don't want to stay here. My condition and
everything.
No. So I think after a couple of weeks I then told them that no, I changed my mind. I don't want to continue with this course anymore.
Okay.
But the scholarship was from the United Nations.
Oh.
So they said to me, look, your scholarship is for 5 years. Saka when you paid, sent in money for your air ticket to come here. For you to come here. For you to go back, you need to wait here for 5 years.
Oh.
So, no, I can't wait for 5 years. So they said, ndio position ilipo hiyo. Hawana kumboziwa hautarudzira muna nimsoro sinambezwana. Listen, inini pane British embassy pana. That tower was kanziri ponto. Okay, I'm a British.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a British. Tuda ndine passport is British foot. Yeah. Tuda
Scholarship.
Yeah, ndoda scholarship first. Scholarship avana. Iniwe wacho basis yeku apply for a scholarship yanga isipo because chikora hapana. So shindipai ticket rokudzokera. Kudzokera kumusha ndikupi. For me kumusha was Dar es Salaam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it couldn't be Rhodesia.
It couldn't be Rhodesia.
No. So my British, well, okay, we'll check with Foreign Affairs and see what they can do. My Czechs, of course, they knew that I was going there, but they didn't like that. They didn't like that. One day they came up and said to me, okay, pack your bags. And all of a sudden, the bag and I some motorcar airport.
Okay.
Like I was being deported. Yeah, but I was very happy to leave.
Okay.
Depart whichever way, but I was very happy.
Yeah.
So I departed and went back to
Dar es Salaam.
I didn't go to Dar es Salaam. I went to Cairo because we had an office. I had an office in Cairo.
This man.
Yeah. So I went and stopped in Cairo.
Okay.
And the old man is late now, Mombeshora, was there, the representative. And I stayed with Mombeshora. But hardly 2 weeks down the road, our troubles from home seemed to follow me.
They visited you.
Yeah. They followed. Why? Because there is a conference that was happening in Cairo during that particular time. There were delegations from ZANU, ZAPU. ZANU delegations was just Mombeshora and myself. 2 of us.
Okay.
ZAPU, they had almost 10 people maybe. And they would come from Lusaka. And
sponsored by Como.
Yeah.
Okay.
The presence of these increased numbers of people from ZAPU and us, the attitude ZANU was not to be allowed to exist. They knew Egypt. NASA supported ZAPU, not ZANU.
Okay.
Yeah, they were trying to do everything possible with the ZANU.
Okay.
Yeah. So one day, we go for not one day. That particular day after the conference,
Yeah.
we had to a cocktail. After cocktail, they followed the ZAPU guys. They followed us to where we lived.
Oh, okay.
There were five of them, 6 of them in their car, and there were 3 of us in our car. When we got to our place, we went off course. Because they followed us all the way like Mavugu.
Oh, okay.
And unfortunately for them, they followed us to. First, these people were new in Cairo. They don't know Cairo.
Yeah.
Cairo is a big city.
Yes, yeah.
And Kwatayenda, you was not even straight. You went like that, until you get there. At least it's in under Uziego. So when you go to the residence, these guys are still behind us. He says that Aiwaga, varikuchera kutisuke kupi kusvika rini vachitera. Vanoda kudzidziswa mutemo chaiwo chaiwo.
Oh no. Again.
So that no, these people must be taught a lesson that they will remember. So we stopped, went after these guys, pulled them out, and one-to-one man. They made a mistake because they had a taxi. So when we got there, when we stopped and got out of the car, Iwo paid off the taxi driver. So the taxi left and went away.
No transport now.
In the middle of a place, they don't know. This is like
Cairo is big.
Cairo is big. It's like Wasiwaku Melfort.
Yeah.
And so we beat them up.
Again thoroughly?
More than thoroughly. We beat them up thoroughly, right? We beat them thoroughly.
Okay.
And these guys, to save themselves, they ran into people's houses. The neighborhood,
Blood.
And eventually we got arrested.
Okay.
Ombeshora and myself. Kamufana disappeared and he went away and appeared as if he was not there. Kuzoti ku police station maroa munu akarowa nechidhina I think akarowa pakapakatsemukabonjera. So mapurisa vari kuti what happened. Mombeshora then took charge as mudhara mukuru wacho leader wacho ndobva Mombeshora ati don't bother him in any much because why because ndini iye ndiye ari responsible. No, makawanda Mombeshora kati takawanda but this guy didn't do anything. Inini ndindarova vanhu.
Okay.
Yeah. Saka mapurisa akati iwe wega chindituudze kuti warase mupurisa grabbed the policeman and let me show you how I hit you. I hit them.
Really?
Yeah, I screamed. Okay, but it could never zapu. It was good enough to ndabatwa ipapo nemapurisa. I don't know what they said. It could never put my officials and stuff. But Mangwana, I got a thing. I had to leave Cairo.
Okay.
And then I had to leave Cairo because lucky for me, at almost the same day actually, Chitepo sends a telegram.
Okay.
There was a conference, Afro-Asian, right at this thing, a meeting. And my picture.
Yes, yeah.
There's that meeting.
Yes.
Chendai kuno kurusaka kuna vanhu vandina kuno. Imimi chendai kukoku.
Okay.
Kukairo kwacho. Not to Cairo, to Beijing.
Okay.
That's how I attended that meeting.
Oh, that meeting, yeah. In my pictures.
In my pictures,
Okay.
Yeah. And so I went to Beijing. And from Beijing, of course, I went back to Dar es Salaam this time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And in Dar es Salaam for...
I stayed in Dar es Salaam for a little while. In the meantime, a new representative has just been appointed to England, and that was Frank Ziambe.
Frank Ziambe, okay.
Yeah. Frank Ziambe, it was like Tilima Youth Tese, because you are university, so I things together and stuff.
Okay.
When he passed through Dar es Salaam, we met. Right now, and so on. I can't even go for training because of this slang. And the thing I did. Why didn't you come with me? Okay. I think that's a good idea. It is an
okay.
Right. Okay. Then he said he was going to be tied up. I said, in the next 2 weeks. After that, he will be there.
Okay.
So eventually, that's how I ended up in London.
Oh, okay. No.
Unless we go to London.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. No.
Can you excuse me?
Oh, okay. Comrade, you, as you're narrating your story, we left a story where you were saying, after the death of Chitepo, some leaders were arrested, and you had said they were later released to you.
Lancaster.
Yes.
No, Geneva Conference.
Yes. Yes, when they were released to you, why were they released to you, these leaders? Why were they? Oh, okay.
Iye nokubva tsamba kuna mai yinza chona nokuti changanga tiri kugana tese.
Oh, okay.
But he was the prosecutor. That's the crime he committed. Then wrote to me, say, you know Zambia, you know Vakusulu Zimbabwe. Do vakauraya Chitepo. He wrote in that.
Okay.
Saka I had to show kuna vandaishanda now. Arikuti vakauraya, but he is the prosecutor. Vanhu havasati vatongwa.
Yeah.
That's the biggest
and the
crime.
Prosecutor is making that allegation. Yes.
Saka it became known. Vananyerere, vanakaunda, vese vakazviziva vana members a community yangu. Kuti how can you do that?
Okay.
Saka vese vakazviitwa release.
Okay.
For the Geneva Conference, and not in Geneva. They were now pink Kwandiri manje.
Oh, okay.
But ndakanga ndave na Dzinga Mtumbuka na Feichung kumba kwangu.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Then Chizoita the Geneva Conference. After that, this achieved
Mozambique.
Mozambique. Yes.
So you actually attended the Geneva Conference yourself?
Yes. But in the kanga ndichisenza, I couldn't have held a past. Ndakati ndoda kubondo seva my notice na my employers angu. Saka vakaenda ndichizotevera ku.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So where were you working, by the way, by this time?
Racial Justice Commission yakanga ina ma offices ku Regent Park.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you could not get a post because you were still at work and
yes, I had to go and said no. Yeah, that paid the way because I want to train.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You like military training?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So you actually later went for military training?
Yes. I went to one place in Tab, I had 40 people. Tikaenda pa Chimoio before it was bombed.
Oh, okay.
And I think we left 6 people. Wakafa pa
Chimoio.
Yeah.
Oh.
Angu wakanga wari part of
those were part of
40.
Yeah. 40. 6 died.
Yes.
Papa Chimoio. But when it was bombed, you were not there.
I was there.
You were there.
I was there.
Yeah. Take us briefly through that day. What exactly happened on that day?
Vakauya nama helicopters. They just bombed continuously. Isu takanga tararama. We had now find our way out of the place. ini ndakanga ndakuwara gumbo. Then vamwe vakati uyu ngachiinda and perhaps because of my age ngaende kunhingi to a place yandakazonogara ikoko right up to the time akagouya Tongo gara.
Okay.
Yeah, of course I knew him very well. Ndikazonzi ndochinda kuMaputo.
Okay.
Ndaenda kuMaputo. No, I had to complete my assignment here in Greek training.
Okay.
Ndichizoenda kuMaputo.
Okay.
Right. Then I was the head. It was no longer trade union, but manpower training.
Manpower training.
Yes.
In
Maputo.
In Maputo.
Yeah.
But
For ZANU.
For ZANU.
Yes.
For ZANU now.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Now, comrade, sorry, I will take you back a bit.
Yeah.
We hear reports that when Chimoio was attacked,
yes,
the leaders had actually been warned that there's likely to be an attack here. You got something?
First of all, I wouldn't have heard it because takanga ndiri a part of that. Ndiri pa training.
Okay.
So that there is no, I could have known that.
Okay.
But the most important thing, my attacks akanga awanda. Wakanga kwaita nadzonya. Yes. Ava vakazouya vane helicopters nezvimwe zvakadero. But the people wakanga vari a lot more careful.
Okay.
That's why the damage was limited.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And takanga tari na machine gun.
At that time, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You know that to reply to fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. When you say now Maputo manpower development under ZANU, what was that? What were your duties? What were you doing?
Remember, I was a trade unionist.
Yes.
So I knew very well about you train around.
Oh, okay.
So ndakanga ndine office. Mfano Shumba, I was working in my office.
Oh, which Shumba is this?
Kontai.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But ndakanga ndina Ernest Mkarati as well.
Oh, okay.
Na Senderai akanga hapa ku America.
Oh, okay.
Yes. In my office. So I was also sent to Europe.
Okay.
Particularly to ILO. Kuti tinoita manpower planning.
Manpower planning.
Tizoenda ku university yakanga kuina Clay Pali.
Okay.
Mukadzi Ann Pali.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Ndo kuzoitwa conference yoku Lancaster.
Oh, okay.
Yaitwa Lancaster. Indakanga ndine friend yomukomana wandakanga ndambinge ndichisanda naye ku Dar es Salaam.
Oh, okay.
Chikanzi ku Indian. Well, I mean, Zanga. Their way of saying uri kufamba nestranger ndiani. Then they knew kuti yes, those who were before Zenda na Tongo na uyu that yes, ndinomziva kuti Tanzania.
Okay.
Ndiani ndikati anoshanda ICFTU.
Okay.
Now that was frightening. Nokuti takanga tamboita madzivo ne ICFTU here at home.
Oh, okay.
Saka, but what went into their head, ndokuti ICFTU ine mari.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Chikande angando chagira mari here ku ICFTU. I think you want to go you want to talk to him.
Okay.
I know he's a friend. Ndakamuzivira ku Dar es Salaam. But zvokutsvaga mari
I'm not
you
sure.
want to talk to him.
Personally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Auya. And he nearly fainted. Amunza kuti vanoda mari asafety.
Why?
Well, he was, ISTU was hated.
Okay.
And we were kind of through the ranks. Nokuti isu taitamba nama communists rather than Western.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Inti ndakaperekedza Tongo to the airport, ndakamudriver.
Okay.
Ndagara ku the British license.
Okay. That is after the Lancaster conference.
Yes.
Ndimakaenda Tongo ku airport.
Ndatopuwa mission iyi.
Okay.
Ndasvika uko vozonzwa kuti afa. And I think they speeded up. Mari indakanga ndanzikana ndikashaya mari ku Brussels. Ndinofanirwa kuti ndiende ku my friends ndiwakanga ari ku Sweden.
Okay.
But once afa mari yese yakauya.
Okay.
Ndichibva ndakutumira kuna tekere ku Dar es Salaam. Zvikanzi take the fastest plane back.
Okay.
And I'm talking about £2.5 million.
That was raised during that time.
Yes.
Okay.
For our campaigns.
Okay.
Yeah. And ndaenda ku Dar es Salaam ndakazonogara ku hotel.
Okay.
And ndakauya the first plane. Muno manje.
Okay.
Yeah. And ina opangu chinguri nomfana wendiane. Wamauvets. Mchangwa.
Oh, Chris Mchangwa. Okay.
Na vakadzi vana shamuyarira vese vakanga vari handingati disabled, vakanga vari ma-civilians.
Okay.
Vakauya neplane.
Okay.
Chiuyapa munomu.
Okay. So maybe you're coming from Dar es Salaam?
Yes.
Okay.
Nendege. Nokutambirwa na Rex Nongo netimu yavo.
Okay.
Nokuenda kuHighfields.
Okay.
Ndasvika kuHighfields, I had to be separated. Because I still had a duty to perform among the trade unions. Do you know 88 Manika Road at all?
Yes, I do. Yes.
I bought that.
Oh, okay. You're the one who actually bought that.
Yes.
Okay.
And Saka zvaita saizvozvo ndakanga ndakuorganiza ma-trade unions ku Silvera House kuti vese within the region. Ndichibva ndazoiswa ku Ministry yeLabour.
Okay.
Director.
Okay, this is 19 what now?
1980.
Somewhere there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Allow me to take you back a bit. There's this part, people are fascinated by these stories. You said after the Lancaster House conference, you're the one who was
Lancaster, yes.
Yeah, you're the one who drove Tonga to the Tell us, as you were driving him, what were some of the things that he was talking about? This was after a conference where they now were saying, Takwinda Kumusha. How happy, what was his mood like?
Oh, he was very happy, of course, Kumusha.
Okay.
And he was also wishing me well.
Oh, okay.
Ndingano sakisida.
Okay.
Okay. He was one of those three Mugabe now. Mzenda na iye Tongo.
Okay.
Yes. Vakanga that mission.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
By the way, every time when people say 88 Manikarod, I always wonder, why did you specifically choose that place?
I did not.
Who chose?
Ndakangoenda kunotsvaga kuna kuma agencies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Ini ndakanga ndiri candidate reku migrants.
Okay.
After the elections, well, before that, ndakanga ndatenga iyoyo 88 manika
Monica. Okay.
ndokuzoitwa a candidate
Okay.
ndakanga ndiri number 9.
Okay.
The last woman number 7 mukadzi waFrank Ziyanga.
Okay.
So I lost indaga ku Midlands vakawina E4
Okay.
out of 10 or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I lost to kuna Nkomo.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Comrade Chizengeni, your story. You are now in London. Then you finally got into London. Take us of your time in London and what was happening there during your time when you went to London.
Okay. In London, the next thing that was open for me to do was to go to school,
Okay.
further my education.
Mm-hmm.
But furthering my education required that I possess the necessary university entrance qualifications,
Okay.
which I did not have.
At that time, yeah.
Yes. So I decided, we talked with Frank Zambia, and I explained to him what my position was, and that I needed to get myself up so that I'll be able to go to university and stuff.
Yeah.
What that meant was that I had to write my A-levels, O-levels and A-levels certificates in order to apply for university place.
Yeah.
That was in November
1960.
66.
Okay.
66, I think.
Yes, yeah, 66.
Okay.
And the next GEC examinations were in May following year. And I had to aim to sit for those.
Okay.
So what that meant, I have only January, February, March up to April.
Yeah.
To study.
Crash program.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was good at it.
Okay. Well,
I had no choice. If I fail that, there's no way
you
there's nothing
go.
else to do.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. And in the meantime, the Frank and the other guys who were prepared to help us had already said, Chizengeni, get the qualifications, then we'll help you.
Okay.
Without the qualifications, we can't help you.
There's nothing we can do.
So everything was within me. So within me, it meant studying.
Yeah.
My day chap, no sleeping. You study.
Yeah.
I study until the examinations came and read us and passed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem. I passed.
Yeah.
Then Frank Ziyambe then said, "Look, the INZC Foundation here,
Yoku Sweden.
Yoku London. There's some foundation that were financing my education, but they were more aligned to my colleges and my short courses, my diplomas and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Frank knew these people and he went and talked to them. And these guys then said, okay, I should talk to them. I went to speak to them. I got, okay, they are prepared to give me to help me out.
Oh, okay.
But we must get a place first. And where, I don't know where to start from, where to get the place from. Can you help? And they said, yeah, fine. They got a place for me at Ruskin College, which turned out to be the same college where he went to, where Thomas Mswaga and Ahmad Ziribi had gone before me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I went to Ruskin, it's a 2-year course. And I did the 2 years. Then after 2 years,
You went to Kent,
Sussex.
Sussex.
I went to Sussex University.
Oh, okay.
Then got the BA from there.
Oh, okay.
From Sussex.
After getting your BA,
then I went to America.
Oh, okay.
And I went to America, and
he was now in Untouchable.
What do you mean by that? He was now an untouchable.
What fry got over?
Oh, okay. Achabatiki. Yeah.
But when they were
so you went to America.
Yes.
In America, what are you doing?
I went to Boston University.
Oh, okay.
Just did an MA degree and scholarship to do that.
Okay.
Then something happened. Sorry, London.
Yes.
London, we politics zezana zinakupera kadziripo.
Zichiripo, yes.
Yeah. So kune ma branches zezana ariko, so we involved with those zanas and organizing those and stuff.
Yes.
The same thing for America. Yeah. Kune ma branches zanu. And I get involved in those as well.
Okay.
Yeah. We for a very long time I get involved in those until 1974. When the British and the Americans agreed among themselves that they were going to try and force a settlement over Rhodesia. They came and spoke now to South Africa and Smith. And Smith then was forced to agree to talk. Our leaders.
Yes.
And actually they released them.
Yes.
That process, when that process was being done,
10 years after
so when that process was being done, it involved political leadership. The unification, it was an imposed unification of the parties under one leadership.
Okay.
And the leadership was Zorewa.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Sagawe ZANU were to forget about their ZANU, ZAPO, so to forget about their ZAPO, and Mongo it was UNC. At that time, I was the chairman of North America province. America was.
Oh, okay.
So I got word I just have to pull Saka from somebody. I can tell this is what has happened, and you're all required now to work under UNC. They were like, no. Then I can't do it.
Oh, okay.
No. I then said, I gave it up. I then said, okay, chairmanship, Wandina or ZANU, I'll give it up.
I'll give it to anyone.
Anybody. Angade, kuzosenza under UNC.
Okay.
Yeah. And I just said, but so I took a back seat.
We walk on Malawi. Akanga representative ku UN. Mawere. I see that whatever.
No. It was among the other people who were my students.
Oh, okay. So after that, you now took a back seat.
Yeah, I took a back seat. And I said a back seat chair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And Zaitika is sorry, I should withdraw the word backseat chayo now.
Yeah.
Backseat chayo. Because immediately after this, Chitepo is dead. Bata series. Chitepo was a person I knew.
Yes.
Okay. Like close. That is one name. Chitepo Alpha. And no.
This country.
I know. No. Then count me out.
Okay.
Because Kwandiri, this is the thing Yanga Chiburiswa Yuti Aurayana. Because there's supposed to be internal problems within the party. Saka Aurayana. So my candidates Ekuraya Munu Yanga report they were ready. They were there. You could see them under the yes. And you can convince yourself that. So any night forget it.
Okay.
I'm not interested.
Okay.
Isu pataka vapana pataita ZANU, NDP, ZAPU, patwa NDP, ZAPU, ZANU. There was no tribalism. Yeah?
Yeah.
And nobody ever asked anybody would know Nobody.
Okay. So when you're hearing this now,
Zambia bakurana because of what?
of that.
No.
Okay.
Chizengeni. That's it.
Okay. And that was it. You never got back into politics?
Not effectively, no.
Okay.
No.
Until independence?
Until independence. I've been in politics.
Oh, really?
You've been how?
But were you really convinced that it was among
all the factors? My point is, they could have done that.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You see, we're coming from a situation where it was the nature of the party, the composition of the party leadership.
Okay.
Yanga inema possible seeds
that could happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
The bulk of the leadership in ZANU was Manika.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
President Store Karang Ndau Manika dent. Secretary Chairman Chitepo Manyika.
Mm-hmm.
Secretary for Public Affairs, Secretary for Defense Noel Mukono Manyika.
Mm-hmm.
Secretary for Foreign Affairs Simpson Mtamaningwe Manyika.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Tell my position is that my position. Wangani.
Okay.
Bashoma.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Mo apana makaranga aitoonani because there was vana amadziripi, vana mawema, nevamo wacho. But the other groups, panagari mazezura okay, pana Mugabe, pamazezura. Na shamyarira.
Okay.
Yeah. Na ningi uyu anonzani. Shikerema.
Shikerema ngasi mjana kwa.
Oh, okay.
Shikerema ngasi mjana. So it was skewed.
Yeah.
Yakanga tanga ilima, I think it was dominance ichi manyika yanga ilipo. Dominance ichi karanga yesukwa pasi. So
when this happened,
when during our time, we didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, since we never had a problem kuti bana bainda manyika ndio wapa msoro wa mwagari vanga so. No, we didn't even want that. We didn't have a problem with that.
Oh, okay.
Kwandiri nini ndio nafanga zo problem yakauya when in Zambia, when they opened up the leadership, the dare, for people to be elected from the provinces of Zambia.
Oh, okay.
Which thing I understand, when my leaders ZANU kuno wana store and company were saying, Chitepo sabvumeba to have my elections for my leadership positions Zambia because it's really unconstitutional.
Oh, okay.
It's just a branch. It's not the whole country. So you can't have my elections.
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Chitepo was under pressure and he bowed down to that pressure.
Okay.
To have my internal elections. My internal elections are the first thing that they did was to bring in people. Utumbuka, Mudzi, Aiwa, Feangasi Impadman. Tutaura Zimbabwe.
Okay.
Aiwa Chigwendere. No, ndutara wone kuZimbabwe. Mtumbuka, Mudzi.
Okay.
Taura futi vamwacha hauchaziva futi vamwe. Anyway, pane vanhu vakawanda vakabva vaintroduced.
Okay. Is it the same time yabviswa no Mukono?
Yeah, ndio, that's the same time. Ndio the same time yabviswa no Mukono.
Okay.
Ndio the same time yabviswa Simpson Mtamanengo. So it was like a direct replacement.
Yeah.
Yemava manyika by Makaranga.
Okay.
Tongo became one of them.
He became the secretary.
Mukono.
So, like I'm saying, it became as if they are replacing.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but they had organized it in such a way that votes so they organized my votes such that so they succeeded in doing that.
Okay.
And yet we understand it is a thing that they did not. advised, don't do it because it will cause problems in the party.
Okay.
Saka yakabva yaitika exactly izvozvo zvokuti kwandiri. This is what my understanding was. Ndaiti ava independence yauya kunhingi kuMozambique, vanhu vari muleadership muZanu, not just in Zanu but everywhere else, vari kuti nhingi Zimbabwe is a matter of time before becoming independent, and therefore you have to start positioning yourselves because otherwise you'll be too late.
Okay.
So positioning yourself is doing what? Is doing exactly what they're doing. That's how I looked at it. They're doing exactly this.
Okay.
So that led, of course, kuti Chitepo to eliminate. Kwandiri is like a continuation of strategy.
Okay. But when you reflect back,
it is to when CIO wrote to me.
Okay.
Na kaunda.
Well, he actually wrote a letter to you.
Dear Mukuru CIO.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Ken Flower.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Akaenda ikoko. Akaona na mainza chona. Mark Chona. Yeah. Ziganzi munoti makaisa makawa makasungire kuma we. Makaranga.
Oh, okay. Specifically Makaranga.
Yes.
Okay.
Nokuti tisu takaita.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Makaranga wangu wakusapurwa
so
this is where
yeah.
No, sorry, before you this issue. During this period, before this confusion that comes in here, pane vanhuwo vaita activities aikonzeresa kuti vamwe muzoti ndofunga pane something.
They were always
okay. Pane maybe it's not good to mention names, but there was a very prominent name as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Not just as far as I'm concerned, as far as everybody who knew the situation, they would agree that this shape was prominent.
Oh, okay.
He went from here, akaya ku England, and chiri ku England, and organize. Yeah, but he was targeting certain persons from certain area.
Oh, okay.
And this one. Barnabas, I stayed with him in the same building, apartment building. I stayed on the Zingai Mtumbuga. I stayed in
Barnabas.
I stayed in ground floor and basement. Ground floor. Here I got a bamsuru.
Oh, okay.
Barnabas was never a member of ZANU.
Okay.
At that time.
Okay.
But this shape came. Mission yake, he mentioned to me, anga chirikuta vanhu. And vari kurukuruta ndevapi? Vanhu vanobva certain region.
Okay.
And this chap, Andruti Barnabas, happened to come from this right region.
Okay.
But this chap is not political. He's not interested in politics. He was more Catholic than anything else, indeed.
Yeah, but he was a scientist.
Okay, but what is that to do with politics?
Yes, yeah.
What is that to do with politics? Politics, Zimbabwe was not even a member of ZANU then.
I know, he was a kid.
Oh, okay.
He couldn't have been. Mubako would have been much higher.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But he was a kid in terms of what? Not age, but age. He's a much older person. Okay. So anyway, Ndrikuti, my characters who were going around it's like they were preparing themselves, and themselves meaning region independence is just about around the corner. Because Mozambique we must prepare ourselves. We must be ready for the time to come. Saka,
Oh, okay.
yeah, Then he actually had a list. And some of the guys are also based even in Zambia. Zambia.
Okay.
So what do you want me to believe?
Okay. But when
vakazosungwa kavese vakaranga kuMozambique.
But ndrukuti kuMozambique vakasungwa naMugabe uko.
Yekandoshandikurazi.
Vashandi. Tell me Vashandi.
But Vashandi was not it was an ideological way. Vashandi havada kuuya ku Geneva conference. Okay. Including mfano Indian Keza. Yes. Havana kuuya kuningi.
Vakarambizwa here kana
vakaramba.
Boycott.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah. Boycott.
Oh, okay. Now, as we round off this thing, I have two questions for both of you. As you were doing all these activities, Mzami and so on, in very few words, can you tell us what was the ZAN ideology at that time when you were participating in politics like this?
Kwandiri yakanga iri socialism.
Meaning what?
Yavana Mao.
Okay.
Yes.
What do you mean socialism?
Nokuti Russians aka withdraw zvombo zvese against Mao.
Okay.
Yes. And ndikazoudzwa nayo vana Mao.
Okay.
Tapesana nama-Soviets.
Okay.
Yes. Saka nchiti iyo. But nakati ava vakanga vari in competition nama Americans.
Okay.
Soviet Union.
Oh, okay.
Socialism
zvaimborireiko socialism. Vanochitika ungazvizwisisi.
Ruled by the workers. Yet ko America vakanga kuina ma-bourgeoisie. Vakanga vasina care of the worker.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You.
I had to laugh because issue ya ideology yekuti muda utsense chi unozoseta up government yakaita fanika sei. I think that was part of the weakness political orientation yedu.
Okay.
Muzanu, Zimbabwe, I think generally.
Okay.
Yeah. Kuti there was never a clear-cut statement here, the sort of system that government was going to follow. Hapana. Zakazongo chwa like tsura yamukira mumakumbo. Mugabe akuti one party state. Kwatiri we all taken back.
Okay.
And as if to confirm what I'm saying, you could recall reaction you take on that.
Yes.
Now you saying, what is this?
Okay.
Because it was never discussed or mentioned or agreed upon. Kuti, this is what we're going to do.
Okay.
People were just assuming kuti, maybe we would do it the way that we were used to, which was the British type.
Okay.
Kuti munozota periodically munoenda kuma elections anenga awina ndiani utonga.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One party statement.
One party state.
One party.
One party state was never discussed and agreed upon by anybody.
Okay.
Yakazongowiswa.
You wouldn't have agreed upon it.
Oh, okay.
Yakanga have a position ya teacher wangu Robert.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now, I'll start with you, comrade. You were a youth and you did a lot during that time and so on. Are you happy with the role that you played? You know, when you look at Zimbabwe now.
Very much.
What brings happiness to you? What brings happiness to you?
Ndinofunga kuti zvatairiwa yakazwana.
Okay.
Kwakanga kuine split yakanga yave kumusoro. But kuti tiwane one man one vote in order to use it properly. Zvakanga zvavepo.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, ndai chairman ngirike yama trade union everywhere. Ndakazobuda futi ako.
Okay.
ndakuenda ku-private sector.
Okay.
Right? Ndikazodaidzwa futi na Chidzero. Aina Tom Swaka. Right? But I think I accomplished the kind of things I wanted.
That you wanted.
Zokuti zvakazenge chiita sei
Jani.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Okay.
I didn't know.
Oh. And you completed Chizengeni. You played quite a significant part and so on.
Yes, and this man is a very disappointed man.
Okay.
Because what I expected and what has happened and what's happening has been run.
Okay.
Maybe I expected too much in terms of clarity, honestness, behavior, my leaders.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Handina kumboziva vaningisi kuti munhu vanocampaigna and use money left, center and right to get into position so that they can steal.
Okay.
And then not only that they can steal, but kana vaba futi manje, they find ways of protecting kubako zvabiwa zvacho naivo kuprotect, so that you don't talk about it, don't mention it.
Oh, okay.
Rambai muchitsapota chete. No,
there were many.
You're wrong.
Okay.
Dude, the system here was too lax.
Okay.
Dai takaziva better, we didn't know. But here manje soka taakuziva better. Let's do something to correct the things that went wrong machiro. Zvatinoziva zvakaitika zvacho. What we expected, even though they were not spelled out, is different from what we experienced.
Okay.
What is it? Munu might have a difficulty in giving you my details, but everybody will tell you that I'm not happy about the situation. What about it?
Okay.
Can I teach it you are not happy about the situation? We must be able to say, at least happy about this and that and that. Those things that we point out must be corrected. But it looks like we are reluctant. Politically, we are reluctant to correct anything.
Okay.
It makes me unhappy.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are the things that you want corrected?
Ndinotaura Chigwendere, but ndiri kuseka because ndikuti mubvunzo ari kundibvunza.
Look, if I go backwards, or rather let me go backwards to time yangu and let I get involved in the politics of this nation. The last thing that ever crossed my mind is kuti ndikapuwa chigaro oro mukana wokumbobatawo maresources enyika sechinji wandipa ichidai chiri chibhengi chakazara nemari indoti shanzi yangu yamuka ndotora mari yacho ndisa muhomwe yangu ino. That is wrong.
That is wrong, yeah.
Absolutely wrong.
Yeah, but that's what's happening.
Okay.
Unotaura say the people who are supposed to talk about that is everybody, the leadership, the middle people, the lower people must talk about this. But there is a reluctance. The Varipasi, they are seeing Zurgitika is wrong. Instead of opening up their mouth for Chitaura directly, my leaders actually will not deal with the problems. They will behave as if nothing is, all is well, when in fact all is not well.
Okay.
So ndikuti honesty-ness apana, ngatiiteka honesty.
Honesty. Comrades, I want to thank you so much for such an honest and frank discussion. It was a pleasure talking to you, my comrades. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks very much.